So hey y'all, I'm a-traveling. Finally on the road to our new home destination. And the kids a while back told me I should probably do this thing in the car while I'm driving, like momisms or something. So thought I'd share a little bit of my mind. Like, oh my goodness, part of the reason we're going off-grid is because the crazy in the world today. I mean, all of these different things that are happening, and it makes you feel like the world has become a place that definitely not recognizable. Not anymore anyway, it seems. I mean, we all know that America is still here. This country is still here. People are still here, and people have values, and they have moral judgment and character. I mean, that doesn't just stop because the world starts going crazy with tyrannical leaders. But you know, I've been listening to some of the news radio broadcasts and started remembering where I came from. I mean, my father used to listen to Rush Limbaugh. I never quite got it until I was well into my 40s and all my children had grown up, and I started remembering all those times that my father was listening to Rush Limbaugh, and he seemed like a radical, out there kind of guy. But he was pissed because the world was doing some stupid things. I realize I'm probably conservative, and once I started embracing that mindset, I think I realized that I'd been that way all along. Just drives you insane to see how people decide things illogically. Like work ethic. Where is it going? Why don't we have enough of it anymore? Why isn't that value being taught in school instead of some of this radical stuff that shouldn't be taught? I remember when my youngest daughter was in school, and she had a teacher in this charter school that I put her in after homeschooling my kids for 5 years. I decided, well, it's better that I go back to work because my husband had to leave for Afghanistan for a year. So me working meant we would have a better income, and at the same time, not having two parents in the house is kind of hard to homeschool. So she was in this charter school and had a teacher that literally would stand her and other students up in front of the class and tell them to talk about their faults and their weaknesses, and literally put them on Front Street in front of the whole class, like that's supposed to teach them some sort of weird lesson. Like, that's not education, that belittling. Needless to say, the school and the teacher had a clue, or the principal, and once they got enough of us parents saying, look, this isn't right, this isn't education, it's a positive influence, and you're supposed to be encouraging them and giving them confidence and helping them build their strengths, not pointing out all their weaknesses. I mean, they know where they're weak, but build it up to where they have confidence to improve. But that concept didn't, for some reason, this teacher didn't get it. And the teacher was fired. But now they're embracing that kind of idea. That kind of mentality is coming into reality. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get where our kids are going. It's just lunacy. And it's not our kids that are going there. It's the adults, the people in their life that they trust are going off the deep end to develop some sort of new way of thinking. Like, I don't know how long we fought to remove racism from our culture. And now they're literally pointing it out again. Like, nobody wants to be judged based on the color of their skin or how they believe or how they live their life, or the choices that they make are their own. And everybody's going to have to answer to God one day. I mean, but that's going to be your issue. You're going to have to answer to the sins of your life. If you believe them to be sins, or if somebody's pointed them out, they've done their part. But honestly, some of these things being taught in government schools, which, by the way, I've always called them government schools because it's not public school. Public school is something for everyone that embraces everyone. Now they're trying to turn that around. It's government school, and government's the one running it and making all the decisions. Now, I'm not anti-government by any means. I believe that a good system needs to be in place to help people who don't always have an understanding of the decisions that are being made. And I get it. But a democracy is allowing new ideas and altering ideas. Not everybody is going to think alike. We're not robots. This is not a world that has robots for human beings. Human beings are critical thinkers. They're creative. They're wonderful brains and emotions and values and morals. But part of that is your upbringing. Part of that is something where I, as a mother, I mean, this is why everybody calls me Mama G. Because I am kind of a mother to most people. Mainly because I tell it like it is. And I'm not going to let you walk around thinking that something's right when it's wrong. It's clearly wrong. Like, if one of my children decided that they want to suddenly be an opposite sex, it's definitely still going to be, to me, I know that I had 2 boys and a girl, and I will always, till the day they die, have 2 boys and a girl. If they want to identify as somebody else, that's in their brain, not mine. The reality is, I know what they were born as. So I don't necessarily agree with the stance of you have a sexual choice. If you want to act like a male and you're actually a female, or act like a female and you're actually a male, well, that's kind of like how people dress up as cartoon characters because of the thrill of being something they're not. I'm just saying, I'm not going to buy into the same headspace as you simply because that's your choice, who you believe yourself to be. But that's my take on it, and that's probably a lot of people's take on it. But it's ludicrous to try to sit here and believe that the whole world should play into one person or one set of standards. Like, for instance, this whole craziness about health and the shots that they're putting out now. I mean, we got a flu shot every year. And for a while there, that was valid. You need a flu shot because you're sick or could get sick. But not everybody got flu shots, and it was okay. Those people got sick, and they stayed home. And the people that were hell-bent to get to work probably gave it to a lot of people. The people that got the shots at work, they didn't get flu bug. Or maybe not as bad. And so they didn't miss as much work. But the whole idea behind the flu bug was so you didn't miss work or school. It wasn't because you were potentially going to die. Now, at first I bought into the mask thing, and we thought that that was a smart thing to do, to put a mask on. But science changes, people. Medical understanding changes. For the longest time, medical doctors believed that opium in cough syrup was a really great thing, and come to find out it wasn't, and it hurt people. And cocaine in soda pop was a great thing by Coca-Cola, and then come to find out it wasn't so great. So there are a lot of things that seem great at first, but eventually truth comes out and people grasp a new understanding. I think what pisses people off the most is that they were led astray, or that they believed something that wasn't actually true. This is what critical thinking is. This is why you need to have it. You need to be able to look at a big picture and say, how does this apply to me? And what's really going on here? And let me think this through. Truth of the matter is, if you can smell food cooking through your mask, then why are you wearing it? It's not going to protect you from something you can't see or smell. If it's going to not protect you from stuff you can see or smell, the whole mentality is off. And I think there's a large oppressive nature that comes along with these masks, and it's like star-bellied sneeches with the vax too. I mean, you gotta sit back and realize that there are some people that buy into this and some people that don't. People that buy into it, well, that's their prerogative. It doesn't have to be the same as mine. We're all free thinkers. We can't always walk the same walk as everybody else. I think that's why God made us different that way. Made us able to think for ourselves and realize that when we're being led astray, truth be told, we recognize it. I don't know. I think that I could probably go on a tangent about it, but truth is a hard thing to fathom. It's some people's truths are their own. I mean, one person might like trees and the other one likes the beach. They're both great things. Doesn't mean it's in spite of the other. So I think that's where people get off their rocker about things. Just because one guy wears a mask because he feels safer, because he's fearful and wants to protect himself, doesn't mean that he's going to be able to control whether or not you wear one. It's just a fact of life. I say this because I actually was accosted by someone after recent changes came out about mask wearing, and suddenly they're starting to find out it doesn't work. It doesn't work outside, and it never worked all along, and people are like in a state of shock, like they're in a big whoa, like the rug's pulled out from underneath them, and they're freaking out because this thing that they were led to believe is suddenly not true. Happens to the best of us, but what other people have been saying all along, suddenly now they're wrong and they're like, oh, okay. But some people have a hard time admitting to the things that they were led to believe. It's hard to swallow that pill, if you will. You don't necessarily want to think, man, I thought I was right. I thought I had a correct belief system. And now come to find out I was led astray and I bought into it. It's like you feel like a fool. It's kind of like when somebody steals something from you because you left your garage door open. You feel like a fool because you let it happen. You let it in. If you would have had more due diligence and closed that garage door and didn't let somebody in who took advantage of you in that way. It feels like you've been taken advantage of. It makes you feel hurt and mistreated and cheated. I mean, even when, I don't know, your child lies to you about somewhere they've been or something they've done, or, I mean, there's a number of scenarios here. I can say, for me, it takes some time. It takes some time to admit to it or to embrace it. And it'll take time in this country, too. People right now are still a little hesitant, still a little fearful. They're going to wear masks if they feel that fear. But the truth is, the only people that ever wore masks before were the people that were actually sick with symptoms. And they knew they were sick. And so, more often than not, those people just stayed home. Or if they had to go out, they would be in a mask. The rest of the world still lives their lives. Breathing air, fresh air, going out, being healthy. Think about this. Most diseases and viruses and colds and all of that hit us when we're the least prepared.
Wheeler County.
That's the husband. He's on CD. We are still traveling, and yes, it's boring. That's why I'm talking about this stuff, because I can't really do it over CB radio. I think I would block the airways for a while, and people would probably get pissed off at me. So I'm doing it here on video, and it might end up being a long video. I don't know. I might end up being able to upload it, but we'll see. But in the meantime, I digress. Truth is, there are people that are fearful out there, and they're going to be fearful for a little while until things start feeling like it's back to normal, or they're normal. When people just get accustomed to living life this way and walking around and existing in a certain way, knowing what to expect when they go out their front door, that's a life that people are easy and comfortable with. I mean, I guess we're from a lifestyle after 30 years of being with a military guy who's taken us around the country and world, and we've moved every 4 years or so. I think we've moved 26 times in 30 years of marriage. So if you think about that, it's quite a big number. But all of these times that we've moved and transferred our life, we've had to disconnect from the past, from the area that we've been, the life we've known, and reconnect and reestablish and begin again. Now, to some, that's something they can embrace. That's us. We love to embrace that change, because it means that you can start over and maybe not make some of the same mistakes, or, make new ones, make new changes, and maybe set things up differently, connect with new people, make new friends. I mean, there's so much new about it that I can't help but be excited about it, and a little sad that I'm leaving the old life world behind. But if you think about it, that old life and world I'm leaving behind, this is one thing I know for certain. You know who your friends are. Really, you know who your friends are. Those are the people that stay connected with you through the changes. Because there's some people that fear that change, like a deep-rooted fear. They don't like things changed on them. They don't like their stuff moved around. They don't like new scenery, or don't go changing my bedroom or living room around. These are the kind of people that fear and resist that change, and they can't ever fully engage until it becomes the new norm. See, that's why the beginning of all of this craziness in the world and this biological warfare was released into the atmosphere of our country and world. This is why, at that time, when everything started shutting down and people started wearing masks and social distancing, which is still a ridiculous term. You can't be social and distant. It just doesn't make sense. It's an oxymoron. But all of this, these new measures to control the disease and to eliminate the possibility of hospitals being overrun by people that were contracting something that was making them sick to death, which is scary in and of itself, because a lot of our country and world, a lot of our country mostly, is overweight, sick, unhealthy. They have not embraced a healthy lifestyle, so therefore when they get sick, their body can't fight it. It's sad to think that our main focus is preventative, even in everyday medicine. It's preventative. It's more treating symptoms than the disease themselves. It's less preventative. Preventative is getting your health on straight. Yes, it's similar to getting your head on straight. And I'm constantly, for like the past 20 years, I've been talking to my kids about this. Get your health right. Eat right. Stay away from the junk. We used to call it crap food. We still do. You know, when McDonald's started doing some crazy stuff, we basically boycotted against them, and I haven't been back to a McDonald's in like 20 years. And some of the other fast food places that are just junk in the food. If you're cooking at home, if you're making your own stuff, you know what's in it. Bread, the basic thing, the one thing in life that you need to help better your health. Yes, you do need bread. I'm just saying. But good, healthy bread. The things that they put in the breads that are mass-produced are not healthy. You don't know what's in that. When I started making sourdough and using that, or getting them from True-On bakeries, where I know what's in it, they put all the ingredients in there. It's everything you can read.
Okay, do you still have your radio on?
That was the time that everything was good. Yeah, I'm here.
See this big hill in front of us?
Yes, big hill. Yeah, I see the peak.
Looks like a nipple.
Oh my goodness, I'm recording a video and you just said that. Well, there's real life, people. Maybe he's embarrassed. But yeah, that's my husband for you. I tell you, another momism here. I still believe in marriage. I believe in the values of marriage. The fact that you walk through life with somebody and they're crazy meets you're crazy. I think it would be a very boring world without having somebody that I can share it with. And if you haven't found that person yet, your person, you will. There's somebody out there for everybody, I think. But, you know, if it's not a spouse, if it's a sibling that you're hanging out with and doing life, it's your family members, it's your grandma and grandpa, it's your mom and dad. Heck, there's even families with just children, just child and parent, or aunt and child. I mean, there's so many different dynamics, but do life with somebody. I think being alone for too long, it's not the way we were supposed to be. This is why I think this social distance crap has been such crap for people. That's why we've had a lot more suicides and people just not wanting to be in the world. They don't understand what's going on. They don't embrace it. They don't recognize this world as the same one they grew up in or were born into. And part of it's because you can't separate people from people. We need each other. I don't think God allowed us to procreate if we weren't supposed to have people in our lives. I don't think God meant for us to be alone. Not for long anyway. Sure, everybody can have their alone time, but we need each other. We need communities too. Like, if you're out in the wilderness by yourself, make sure to get in every once in a while. Go see a friend or relative or neighbor. Meet your neighbors. Come on, people. Let's get back to the root of this country where we actually knew our neighbors and knew we could rely on them if, shit hit the fan. I mean, gotta be honest, right? If stuff goes down, I want to be able to rely on my neighbors at least a little bit, and they probably would want to rely on me too. I mean, we're prepared, but you can't be prepared for everything. We only get one life, right? This is it. And I think you're tested, and your bravery is what you do in spite of it, in the midst of it. Bravery is what you do in the face of fear. How you handle that fear. I mean, fear in and of itself is going to be there. It's a thing, but it's not a thing that you have to carry with you. It's a state of being, and to be brave is to push on through even though it's scary. Knowing that there is an end to it. I always was told, or a lady once said it a long time ago, God puts you to it, He'll put you through it. I mean, we all face our demons, and they don't even have to be ours. Sometimes we're facing other people's demons. The other day, facing some people with fear over masks and addressing me as though they were police and needed to ensure that I was protecting and responsible for the safety of humanity because I was not wearing a mask and I was putting everybody's lives in danger. Well, truth be told, nobody was in danger. I was not a threat to anyone. I'm not sick. I haven't been. I got sick probably right before this pandemic thing ever came out. Maybe that was it. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Or maybe I've just been really, really, really conscious about my immune system and making sure that I was healthy. Going through herbology classes and starting to really get my certifications in naturopathic medicine has been helpful. It helps me understand for the sake of my family, but also for the sake of my own health. But even mental health, I mean, I think there was a situation not too long ago that a friend of mine actually put me right in the head about, that I can't help anybody that doesn't want the help. You're not going to be able to help people if they don't want the help. If they're frustrated with where they're at in life, yeah, you could probably help coax them into another understanding. You might even be able to put some ideas out there that they could embrace. But they still have a choice. People have a choice. Everybody can choose who they want to be. I told that to my kids all their lives. You have a choice who you want to be. Nobody's going to make that choice for you. You get to decide whether it's the influences in your life that make you change your mind or not. Who you want to be is who you will be. I don't get to make that choice for you. I never got to make that for my kids either. All I could do was guide them, give them my best advice when they asked, and set a good example. Set a good example for your kids, people. And that means stop turning your blind eye to what's going on around them. If they're not in the right school situation, take them out. Please. There's so much curriculum out there, so much history that you can teach your children, and that it's got nothing to do with the government's political stance on things, or some of the ideas and concepts that now government schools are trying to teach our children. That example they're setting is setting the stage for the future. Think about that. Be a good mentor, and maybe not just to your own kids, but to anybody around you who sees you. Be a good person. That's all I gotta say, really. And that's all I know so far. By the way, Pink, I love you. You are a good example of a right human being, I just gotta say. There's a lot of great people in this world right now that we could listen to. But again, it's your choice. We all have to live with our choices, don't we? Anyway, this is my input for today as I travel to my new home. And this is Momma G. It's just me. Love you all. Take care. Take care of each other. And God bless.